Hey, everybody. Back again.
Hmm.
Cut
Salutations.
that. I'm Spencer, and of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Dr. Nas. Nazareth.
Yep, moving on.
Yep.
This is the Different Spectrums podcast. We like to talk about movies, shows, and of course, mental health that surround those movies and shows. So, we also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's up to you.
There you go. Don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, before we get into it, take a look at our sponsors for the show, Bub's Naturals, Cure Hydration. You can get 20% off using DSP20 or clicking on our link in our link tree. So that easy, you get 20% off your entire order. Then go check out our merch. We have really cool stuff, just like our mental health university stuff.
Sweater.
It's great. It's so nice. We have hats, not this hat. We have hats. Apparently, this hat is banned for some reason, but we have this hat where it says different spectrums on it in
See,
cool font.
the other one
So
had too much autism. That's what it was.
apparently, they're like, no. And it's happened multiple times. Thanks a lot. All right. So moving on, we have another sponsor. We have two new sponsors for the show. One being Pinfinity. Well, they have great pins that Nas usually has in his hands, but he left them on his table, right wherever. I don't know. Um, they have really cool, different, nerdy pins that use augmented reality, and so you use your phone, and then they pop up videos on the pins themselves. They're really cool. I actually ordered one myself. If Pinfinity is listening, please restock the Green Ranger pin
Please.
because I'm trying to get that one.
Us
Mm,
nerdy Power Ranger lovers, we need it. We
we do.
need it.
R.I.P. Green Ranger.
Yes.
Yes. And then if you used the code DSP, not DSP20, just DSP, you could get 20% off your Pinfinity order as well. And then shout out to Silver Dollar Candle. They have some great candles, and then they also let you customize your own messaging on the candles.
Yep.
Really cool stuff. So go check them out.
Yep.
No code for that one, but you know what? They're actually really priced very well. So go check them out anyway.
Good smells. They're good stuff.
There you go. So with that, today we are checking out a clip from Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. Yep, just like that. He shoots just like that too.
Ballin'.
Bowling. And in this clip, he's talking about failures and how in sports there's not really failures. Do you agree? Do you not agree? We'll get into it. Nas, anything before we get into this clip?
Well, the people should know that we shot this one before because of technical difficulties. Because I'm not gonna point no fingers or no names, but it's definitely my fault. But that was the past me. That was that was Patricia.
That was a month ago. Me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was shit, that was in March, so that was a while ago.
Oh, was it? Jesus,
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
flies.
playoffs. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
And aneurysms. What?
Yeah. Um, so this is a little bit different. Obviously, this is not a movie clip, but this will be a
No.
salient clip in my head for the next eternity, or until like the next clip bumps this one out, and then that one's gone. Uh,
Nice. Very
nice.
nice.
You see that? So we want to get into this, and I think I got some personal stuff to bring to the table this time. And so we're going to talk about failure, success, the process, and how he, as an individual, checked himself
Mm,
before he lashed out, which is really good.
mhm. Yes.
So shout out to everyone that's joined the pod. Thank you for everyone that follows us. Obviously, shout out to everyone out in Cali, #1 listeners, Minnesota, Minneapolis, and then, of course, now Indiana, Fort Wayne, and West Lafayette, where I work, is now catching up. So this is awesome. We're #3. Let's have some fun. Let's get into it, and let's talk about how we're all gonna fail. And
Lovely. Great show.
there
Woo
is
woo.
no meaning to any of it. Okay, let's do it.
Hey everyone, before we get into the show, please check out our collaborator, Bubs Naturals. They sell a variety of health and wellness products, including collagen peptides, MCT oil powder, coffee, apple cider vinegar gummies, and other amazing products. Go to bubsnaturals.com and use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. I just ordered their apple cider and vinegar gummies, and I'm excited to try them. If you are looking for a high quality, all natural health and wellness product, Bubs Naturals is a great option. The company offers a wide variety of items that are designed to improve overall health and well being. So go check them out and remember to use our code DSP20 when you check out. And with that, let's get into the show.
Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, you know. And if you've never, no, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, you know. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's going to win. And this year, somebody else is going to win. Simple as that. We're going to come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball, you know, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures. No, it was not. It was steps to it, you know, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. You know, sorry that I didn't want to make it personal because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back, but I remember it. Next.
Do you guys feel you?
All right. And we are back again.
And we're live. Live. All I can think right now is live as a gummy worm. I don't know how they're live, but that's all I can think of.
Riveting stuff. All
Dr.
right.
Dr. Nas.
Dr. Nas.
Jesus Christ.
How did he have your degree?
ChatGPT.
I was like, when I was looking at your dissertation, I was like, I hope to God he doesn't bring up some like gummy worms or shit. Something that's gonna make him go like.
It's like I'm doing my presentation and I started. We back and we live.
Oh my God.
That
Your
was-
professors be like, what the fuck?
What is he talking about? We're on a podcast.
You know what I'm talking about. No, we don't.
Yeah. We're sponsored by Jesus Christ.
I got sponsors, people. I'm a doctor with sponsors. Remember
Yep. So we're going to do this presentation on autism among women, and before we get into that, let's talk about Bubs Naturals.
They have some great stuff. You ever had collagen protein? It's delicious.
Cure your autism. Jesus Christ.
Just kidding, folks. It's
Yeah.
not.
It doesn't. The pins will. Jesus Christ.
Buy your pins today. It'll cure your autism.
Oh my God. For anyone that's taking us serious right now, please do not cancel us.
Please
This is yeah, please don't. And then obviously oh, we might get in trouble for this, but in my opinion, there's no cure for autism. That's not the thing that you should be doing. It's more about
There you go.
affirming, building skills, working on your craft, and accepting who you are, and kind of navigating this neurotypical world. So, all jokes aside, that's what I believe on this pod. That's what we believe. Neuro affirming, not cure model. So, anyone that got offended about that, just now you know where we stand on this pod.
Now you know. All right.
Yep.
So
All right.
let's get into the clip. So we have a nope. Nope. We're getting
I'm
into the
good.
clip.
What's the clip?
You said that, but the way you were positioned, I was like,
Oh
nope,
no, I was just
stop
moving
it.
myself because my
I thought you were like,
my fat roll was stuck in the cushion.
delicious. That was the show. So Giannis, pretty clear cut, talked about it. Giannis is talking to a reporter after a game after they lost the series. I forgot to who.
Miami. They got beat 41.
There you go, to Miami. And so obviously the reporter asked if Giannis thought that the season was a failure. And Giannis pointed out that he already asked that question, and back then he wasn't in the mind space to answer it. So really talks about how he thinks that in sports there's no really failures. There's mainly like learning and growing. Yes, there is losing, but it's more about growing. And so it's hard to fail if you're still kind of growing, as an athlete, as a person. Because I'll be honest, did not like Giannis at first, especially after what he did to I think it was Kevin Love. I think he broke his collarbone or something like that. I think that was him
No,
who
that
did
was
that. Who was it?
Kelly Olynyk for the
Something.
Celtics.
But I remember the Bucks. Like just did some dirty ass plays, right?
Oh, he might have.
Neither
Yeah, I
knew
don't
that.
know. Yeah.
But now it's good to see him that he's grown a lot since his first couple years in the league, and now he's at that point where he can really kind of slow down and kind of think in the moment about his answers and things like that, because like we saw in the clip, he was about to go off on the reporter and make it personal, but he decided to keep it calm and stick to the subject, which some players do not have that in them, aka Charles Barkley, the
Yeah.
Barks.
A lot of players, right? They'll go on them tangents or they'll blow up. I mean, some of them are maybe being goaded, but I mean, he showed a lot of resiliency. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Not resiliency. Yeah. What am I looking for? He just saw a lot of tranquility. That's not it either.
Jesus.
Composure.
There you go. Composure.
I found Doctor Nuts.
There it is. There's the doctor coming out. So, first question: do you agree or disagree with Giannis? That's all to the fans out there. If you want to, you can put it in the comments. Leave if you agree or disagree with Giannis. But Nas, what do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? In the middle.
Let me tell you something.
Here we go.
I'm joking. Big picture, I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom it down into the microscopic part, of obviously it's a failure because they lost. But I like how you said it. Technically, that was losing and that was a loss. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a failure. Right. Many people, told him to shut up and this is stupid and you don't care enough anymore. And now, I'm like, okay, chill out. Kendrick Perkins didn't agree with him. Stephen A. Smith didn't agree with him. Mad Dog, everyone on ESPN did not agree with him.
Which just means he's probably more right than ever before.
Probably. But everyone wanted to poop on him because he was trying to give a real message to empower many people to think about life differently, to think about this like maybe as Kobe would. And Kobe had this mindset as well, but don't get it twisted. He did not like losing.
Right.
And he would probably say, hey, this was a failure because we didn't win the championship. I know Kobe have said that. Right. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not a failure because there's steps to this.
Right.
Long story short, I saw that clip. I fell in love with that clip. I reposted that clip when it happened, and I had a couple other coaches that I know reposted that clip from when I posted it. And I thought it was a very powerful message that probably saved a lot of people's lives, careers, mindsets. Um, they lost, and they were the favorite, and they should have won. But Miami was a well-oiled machine. Obviously, they made it to the finals. Milwaukee, Giannis got hurt game 1, didn't come back, I think, until game 4. I mean, I agree with him. And I think many people will not because they believe Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
And
true.
I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool if you believe that, but don't shit on this guy for his philosophy and his way of living.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get into more on that in a second. What about you? What about you? I was gonna call you Slim. What about you,
Thank you.
Slim?
I'm slim thick.
JSD.
Jeez. I think I have to. Honestly, I think I have to agree with him because he did a good thing of bringing up like Michael Jordan in his thing. But I mean, look at Michael Jordan, his career. If he would have just said like, him not making his high school basketball team, do you think then him calling himself a failure and not playing the game anymore would have, it wouldn't it obviously wouldn't have led to an amazing career that he had and being probably the greatest basketball player of all time. Maybe he saw it as a failure at some point, but then obviously he grew into just making sure that he worked harder and did better things the next year, right? To get better and be the best out there. That's what really drives people, is getting better. And I think if you see something as a failure, that means you think yourself as a failure. In many cases, I think. And so I think that, yes, I think you can fail at something, but at the same time, overall, something like that isn't necessarily a failure because, in sports, you're going to lose. It's just inevitable. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
You're never going to win all the time. Makes no sense, right? And so, like you could say, like, can you say the Miami Heat are failures? No, because no one even thought that they could even be in the play-in, honestly. So
Yeah, they were the 8th seed. And they were a
yeah,
2 minutes away from losing in even the 8th seed. So I mean, right?
yeah,
I mean, they were the last seeded team.
exactly. And so that's one of the biggest things, right? I agree with him in the fact in sports, I don't think there are failures. I think there are attempts that don't go well, but you can always try and get better if you have that drive, if you have that mentality to really want to win and get better at your craft. Let's be honest, like Giannis is not a failure at all. He came from Greece, was a nobody prospect, and then now he's an MVP, an NBA champion on a team that hasn't seen winning since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, and Oscar Robertson. So,
Yeah, the last time they were probably in the playoffs where they were any good was like Michael Redd. We're talking like 2007.
yeah, OJ Mayo.
Yeah, we're talking a long time ago. It's interesting, Spence. Like, this has been sitting in my file for us to get back to since probably Marchish.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe May. And I think the timing of it is interesting, and we'll get in that a second. For us to come back to it now, after the email that I got Thursday,
Right.
July 15th or 14th. Just today's the 17th or 16th of July. I think before I get into like a dialogue and some case studies, I seen it on Threads the other day. I say it all the time. Just because you fail at something doesn't make you a failure. So that's what you were trying to say is we fail at a ton of stuff. Doesn't make you a failure. You fuck up on something doesn't make you a fuck up. Right? There's steps to this where everything is a failure. Every attempt you do when you first start walking, crawling, reading, riding a bike, there's nothing but failure. As long as you don't give up on that thing, then are you really a failure? Or was it just steps to the next thing? Because Giannis, not only has he won a championship, he's also a 2-time MVP. But maybe that doesn't make him a winner. Maybe the winner is just providing for his family because they were in abject poverty and refugees because they were from Nigeria and then they went to Greece. And then you think about all the things that he's done for the community and I can't remember how many million. I think it was between 2 and 5 million. It might have been just a million, but still, that he donated just to mental health services in the greater Milwaukee area. But he's a failure. He's not a failure. Not a failure. They think about the man that he is and the human that he is, and they think about how his brothers are good, but they're not maybe the best at should be NBA caliber. But because he's so good, they're in the NBA, and he's got one of them on the team with him, right?
Right.
That's how you know you're good, is when your brother's really not that good, but they got him on the team, and he gets a few minutes here and there in the season.
Yeah. Plays bully ball.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I just think that's awesome to take like your loved ones with you.
True.
And then he brings up Jordan, and then you can think about Kobe and how horrific he was when he first got to LA, and how he was taking all these game-winning but turned out to be game-losing shots in the finals. And Shaq was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And he got better and better. So I don't want to just talk specifically about sports. I had a human the other day. Most of my humans, they feel like they fail at like everything. And so a lot of my students are in science, right? A lot of STEM, a lot of neurodivergent folks are autistic that I deal with on the autism spectrum, like myself. And they get these science. They're doing science. What the hell am I trying to say? Doing research. And they're getting data and then statistics and analysis, and they're doing all this shit. Some of this stuff takes months before they get the data, and then they get the data and it's inconclusive, or it shows them negative results. Or they blew something up, or something stupid happened after a month. Now they got to wait a whole nother month to do the shit. God, it's horrible. It's a month-long process. There's no immediate results. There's no 48 minutes in a game. Nope. A month later, you find out that you suck. And a couple of my always, they're like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. It's fucking pointless. I keep failing at this thing. And then everyone says, in group therapy or individual, bad results are still good results because now you know what not to do in science. Still leads you to a good place, gives you really good data. But no one wants fucking bad results. They want good results. They want outcomes. So I tell one of my humans recently, I said, you're too focused on the outcomes, brother. You're too focused on the outcomes. What the hell does that mean? I said, you're doing well in school. You're doing well in the lab. Your advisor or PI is the person they're advising them. They support you. They got your back. So just continue to do the process, continue to do the studies, the experiments, and eventually everything will work out. Why? Because you're highly intelligent and that's what you're going to do. But don't think about quitting and jumping ship unless you really need to. But it doesn't sound like you do because it's a perfect situation. So why are you so focused on these outcomes? It has no value on your intelligence, right? They're completely separate things. So Kobe came up with this. It's not a riddle. He would ask people. He said, for those of you who don't know, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash 2020. One of the most famous basketball players in history. And his daughter died in the crash with him. Super sad. He used to tell his story to all the youngins. And he'd ask them, he said, "Is winning and losing?" And he said, "Do you hate losing or do you love winning?" And most of the people would say they hate losing. Everyone would choose they hate losing. And then they got to him and they said, "So what about you?" And he said, "Guess." And he said, "You love winning, don't you?" He said, "Nope." He said, "You hate losing?" Kobe said, "Nope." Everyone's like, "What the I said, "I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on getting better every single time. I'm not dead until I'm dead. I haven't lost until I've said, tap until you tap out. And what's the word when they say until you say something, that's when you tap out? What's that word called? Uncle.
Yeah. Call
Yep.
uncle.
Uncle. He's like, hey, I ain't done until I call uncle. So, and he said it's all about the process and not focusing on the outcomes, because that's what's going to make you super anxious. Because if you're always worried about losing and all these negative things, then you're just going to be afraid all the time and all the time and all the time. And it makes you, and the other thing on the opposite way, if you're always focused on the winning, all the winning, all the winning, you might forget some of the bad things that happen here and there. They give you a lot of data and a lot of information.
Right.
Because good majority of the time, we learn the most when we lose, when we fuck up. If you look at people that I work with, students, they get a ton of good information after they take their exam. And they say you're supposed to go back and review your exam. Then you should see what answers you got wrong and then try to figure out why you got them wrong, so now you have the right answers. That's actually the best point to get them stuck into your head, is reviewing your mistakes. That's what you learn, because sometimes we don't know why we did things right, but we always know why we got it wrong. So you learn from your mistakes. All right, folks, I'm going to transition in myself. And then Spence, I'll vibe off of Eunice. Back to you. So as you folks know, right, therapist, I've been applying to these jobs, trying to be an athletic director at a school, at an athletics program out in the Big 12 at a Texas school. And I was a finalist, and then I didn't get it. I was a finalist out in Florida for a massive job, didn't get it. I was a finalist out here in Indiana for a massive job, didn't get it. And I keep being the finalist for these director positions, assistant director, athletic director. And even before these jobs, they always see the same thing. We don't know if you can do the short-term counseling because you care too much. We don't know if you'd be a good director because you care too much and you won't be working with students as much. You're going to be an administrator. And I had to send an email after I consulted with Spencer and Colin's wife. And they said, "That's why you know what the hell they're doing. You applied to the job to be an administrator. You didn't apply to be a therapist." So I had to send an email. And all of these feel like dog whistles that are subtly racist. And if this gets back, I don't care. Subtly racist, subtly devaluing of me, and I would say a little bit ableist as well, as me being a little bit goofy, right, being neurodivergent, is that people want you to be this cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And they want they want you to be different, right? And this is why me and Spence were kind of weird about the podcast at times, and we try to clean it up because we want to make sure I get this job and this and that. And so we've changed some things. And you start selling your soul to things just to be shit on. To know that I'm the only person in the room with a doctorate, and yet somehow I'm still not good enough. And so the statistic is black and brown bodies, people may not agree with the statistic, that us with college degrees will still be less likely to get a job than a white individual that with a conviction, a felony or misdemeanor, felony specifically. It's so interesting when I sit in these rooms and I know how awesome I am as a director, as a leader, as an organizer, and how obsessive I am and how intelligent I am. Now everyone can see it. And yet when I sit at the table, they're like, you don't belong at this table. And then I go home and I feel like a failure. And it sucks to feel like that. To feel like you're not good enough because you're a little goofy. You're a little bit different the way you speak or the way you carry yourself. It's not the proper way. Well, people will be like, oh, well, maybe you should have been better. What you're saying is it should have been more white.
Essentially.
Because that's the dog whistle you're saying. So I go home, right, and I feel like a failure. I feel like I am a dumbass. I feel like I'm not worthy of these jobs, and so it makes me extremely mad. And then that can't be true. My father's like, that's not true, obviously. And my friends are like, that's obviously not true. And then everyone says the same thing. Well, fuck them. They don't deserve you. And I get those things. But still, part of you does not do well with failure. To be told that, no. To be told it again, no. And then be told it again, no. And Spencer knows if you've been applying to jobs too recently because the job changed, it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good when people say no to you, you're not enough. It's like, And then we put on this mask and we just try to suck it up and deal with it. So as I shifted over to you, I just told Spence, I said, I'm a therapist, and I'm telling you how to open up and talk to people and shit.
Right.
And I said, Spence, I didn't take my own advice because I was in the weight room on Thursday after I got that email, and I was mad as hell, and I was cussing up a storm, and I screamed in the car, and I cried in the car. Right now, I was fucking furious.
Yeah.
I just wanted to scream fuck and just like throw things. So it's interesting that we're doing this pod now because is it a failure? I know Spence would say no, and I know my father and all my loved ones would say no, and they would say that you're meant to be in a different place. I think we were meant to fuck up that podcast. Because it was the perfect time to do it was now, after Thursday.
Right.
After Thursday. Because I told you we were doing this podcast earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the week. We were talking to Salim. That's when I told you we were doing this one. So I didn't even know about that. So I think it's good. Do I see myself as a failure? No. I see myself as being redirected, and technically the goal that I always wanted was building a community center specifically for Black and brown bodies. And now it's adjusted a little bit to be specifically for autism. And I will still make sure that it'll be Black and brown bodies. And I would bring on some friends and have the time of my life in a city that I enjoy, not in the middle of nowhere, Texas.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that this is truly what I want and not just what we call synthetic happiness. If you want to Google it, people, Google synthetic happiness. It's where we create this alternate reality that we're happy with the choice that happened.
Hey, this is your co-host Spencer, and I'm bringing you a special message from our collaborator, Silver Dollar Candles. They have great scents to go with great messages, just like Best Dad Ever, True Crime and Chill, and my personal favorite, When This Candle Is Lit, Give Me That. You can also make your own candle and message that fits you. So go use our link in our link tree to get your order placed with Silver Dollar Candles today.
But you actually really wanted the red car, but you had to settle for the blue one because it was more affordable. It was safer. Spencer knows I wanted to be in Detroit more than I wanted to be in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's not a failure. Even though I felt like one. And it is technically a loss, an L. But I think this is the way it was supposed to go. So I will play the cards that I am dealt. And I don't think I will ever apply for another job. I'll probably have to apply for one when I go to Michigan just to get my house in order and then start up the company. But I think I'm done putting on a show for people.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like us as autistic individuals, as brown individuals, as women that listen to the pod, as gay individuals that listen to this pod, putting on that show, is sickening.
Yeah.
It's literally, you can feel your soul being sucked out of you. Or you feel like pieces are just shaved off of you, your humanity. And it makes you kind of hate yourself. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm privileged enough to not have to do it because of the degrees that I have. And I refused, as Jon Snow would say, I'm not bending the knee to you, man. Or as Maximus would say, or as anyone would say, I'm not bending the fucking knee anymore. It feels good to know that I will never bend the knee again. It feels good to know that. It feels good for my father to be excited. So, failure, yes and no. But in the grand scheme of things, I won on Thursday. I won my freedom. And we get to have this podcast and have a hell of a fucking time until we die. Or until we're too busy with kids or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Spence, I know I made you sit through some of that, but I was going to vibe.
Yeah.
And and I want to put you on the spot, but I know you know how this feels because I know you've been going through some shit with these fucking interviews.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotten a lot better, I think, for me when it comes to interviews. Now it still sucks when I like see rejection or anything like that, but I think it's because it's just like when they reject you, it's such a vague thing. They don't get into why they did it. Is it
Jesus.
because my
Yes.
personality? Like I don't even. I'm not even gonna like I'm not that type of be like, oh, I'll sue you because you didn't hire me for this. No,
Yeah.
I legit want to know why. Because one of my last interviews where I got rejected, I made it to the last round. They said they really liked me, all the way up to the last person, but ultimately it was probably more of like a pay thing, which I'm like, why didn't you just tell me that from the beginning? Like, hey, this is our range, this is all we can do. Da da da. I would have
Yep.
worked around it. I even told them, hey, I'll work around it. All that stuff. And they still kind of rejected me after that in like a cold way. And I was like, but why? Um,
Why?
I know. And
Why don't
and
you
that's the
love
thing
me?
though. It's like, how can I learn from that experience if I don't know why I didn't get it in the first place, right?
Correct.
And giving me that vague like HR, email being like, sorry, we did not select you. Thank you for your consideration. Look at our other positions, blah blah blah. It gets to be where I'm like, I just want to know what I did and how I can be better. Um, and how can I get more experience and stuff like that. So that's where I'm kind of at with the jobs. I wish I could do more of just flat out being myself more. I can here and there. But at the same time, I haven't gotten the years of experience that I need to
Yep.
get to that point where I can do things on my own.
That's why I said I'm
Or
privileged.
yeah. um and at some point I will get to that point, but for right now, I'm in a boat with a lot of other people looking for jobs where it's like,
Correct.
we just need more experience and we need more time to actually grow and be better, to actually get the recognition from others. But anyways, I'm very lucky to be on this show, and very lucky to have my opinions come out the way I want them to, and just chilling and vibing and stuff, because this show will probably get me farther than I could probably get in any other type of setting, I think,
I think
because
it
at
has a
least
high
here I can
ceiling.
be myself and vibe, like I said. But yeah.
Yep. The show has a high ceiling. Um,
Yeah.
it has a low basement, but it also has a
Yeah.
very high ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, look
Just
at where we were like a year ago,
yeah,
compared to now. So,
yeah. All the hard work's done. We just got to show up to the pods.
yes.
Yeah, and so failures, depending on how you look at yourself and how you value yourself, right, and how you look at all the entities within yourself and where you see the end all goal. What is the
Mm,
goal? Go back to the original goal. And for me, it was many steps. It was I needed to get the bachelor's, and then I know I need the master's, and eventually I was like, okay, I need to be serious, and people take me serious, and I need the doctorate, because now I can be
mhm,
more goofy and fuddy duddy, and I can talk the way I want to talk, and I can wear Jordans, and I don't have to wear a tie because people will have to take you more seriously because now it says Dr. Nazir Tufik Zerka II.
mhm,
And so I have prestige now. I have more of the pedigree now. And knowing that, like when they spray painted the N word on LeBron's house a couple years ago, you still will be
mhm,
seen as less than. But I'm not worried about that usually with my neurodivergent folks in my office, because all I see is someone that actually cares and is paying attention and listening and being goofy and funny or
mhm.
stoic. Whatever it needs to be, they see me. I had a boy the other day that was talking so goddamn fast. And I said, hey, I can keep up with you. And he said, I noticed that. Most people can't. I said, yeah, this is as fast as I've ever talked in like 2 years, but
Mm,
I'm keeping up. I'm tired now. Well. I said, you don't mind when I ask you these questions that quick? He said, no, I'm enjoying it because we're keeping up to speed and I'm paying attention now. I'm like, okay. That was first time in a long time I've done therapy on 2x speed
wow.
because it was awesome. So this failure thing, if I look at it, you look at with every single interview as being a failure. which I do
Yeah.
quite often because you're being literally rejected because of you. It's heartbreaking. But if you look at it, it's just more and more data to put to the algorithm of fitting in to this job society.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just got to learn the code. You got to learn the right words, the trigger words that you need to say, and the certain facial expressions, the certain things that you need to do as being neurodivergent to get the interviews, to socially network. As Spencer was alluding to, I remember it was 2016. I looked at my mentor at the time, Jerry Johnson, Grand Valley State University, still teaches in the Master's of Social Work program. Awesome dude. Teaches addiction classes, a few other classes. He actually ran the whole program for a while, and then he just became a teacher.
Okay.
But he was an old school addict, played Division I baseball, was addicted to drugs for many years, got clean, and now he teaches these classes. And I asked him, I said, man, what's going on? And he said, Nas, you're too much. You know, you're funny at times, and right, you make the jokes, all right. But he said, you don't have the resume to act the way you act. He said, you're cool with me. I love you.
Mhm.
But you're going to have to start giving people little chunks of you. He said, imagine if I had tattoos all the way down to my hand, all the way down to my, let's say, the sleeve,
Mhm.
wrist. He said, when you first start working, you're going to have to make sure, interview, you got the suit or the clothes on to cover all the way them tattoos. Because they're going to see you and be like, mm-mm. And then a couple months into it, then maybe you can roll your sleeves up. Because now they say you do good work, you're professional and all that. And then they say, you get to work in there a year. Now you can wear cutoff, your shirts. Not cutoffs, but just regular shirts.
Mhm.
So it takes time to build the credibility, the reputation, the pedigree. I said, I get it. He said, yeah, the same thing for earrings. If you got earrings and maybe you got a gauge here, you got the bull thing on the nose, you got to have them out for the interview. And then little by little, you can put them back in. You slowly warm people up to the authentic you. And I said, that's bullshit, man. He said, this is the only way to get the jobs that you want.
Yep.
He's a white male. I remember being with one of my other mentors, Professor Lois Owens. Wonderful, strong, old school black woman that had been through more things than people couldn't even imagine in life. And she said, Nazir, you're going to have to act better. I said, what do you mean? You're going to need to dress better? Because I would just wear athletic clothes like I'm wearing now. And you're going to need
Mhm.
to talk better. You're going to need to write better. And you're going to be, she meant this with love. You're going to have to white it up to fit into the society. It was devastating. And I cried in her office and we talked about it and we worked on it, right? And she was at graduation and she stood up when she was sitting down. She gave me a big old hug and a kiss on the cheek. She said, you did it, boy. And then I got a bunch of awesome jobs and I can fit the model, but it gets tiring for many of us in neurodivergent always having to fit it. Tired of us code switching people of color. Autistic folks, brown folks, queer folks, we're always code switching. And we've talked about it before in the podcast with Vicky. Lucky enough to where I don't have to do it as much, but it sucks that I have to do it, and that's why I didn't get these jobs. And that's what Spencer's also talking about too. It's not about intelligence why we're not getting the jobs. It's about, are you saying the right things, the coded right things? And sometimes we don't say the right things. Many of you on the spectrum that listen to this pod don't have the words. That's why the company I'm building is called Lost for Words. Many of us don't have the words and we zone out and we blank out. Or like me, I start talking shit and Spencer's like, calm down now, right? Because I go into this different universe.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't like that. Some people like
Sounds-
that. Some people don't like that. Getting back to the clip, I love Giannis as a man, as a person. And as a player, I've gone to like him even more and more because he's worked on his craft and he's now a Goliath compared to what he was.
Mhm.
It's awesome. I wanted to touch on how he was able to stop himself from blowing up. So he said, wait, let me take a second because I don't want to make this personal. Spencer's seen me do it in the past. Spencer's done it himself where all right, let me pause because I'm getting ready to go ziggity boom in this play. I'm getting ready to go full on World War III.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go full what was that place called in Marvel when they were getting ready to drop the city onto the other city?
Wasn't it like, oh, gosh, it was some like Romanian sounding country?
city or country, yeah, or nation. But imagine whatever that implosion was going to be and how it was going to
Yeah.
destroy the world. That's what some of us do.
Yeah.
Making sure you're cautious and you're pulling back. If you know divergent and you're getting to your boiling point, we always talk about what is your boiling point. Are you already tired throughout the day? Have you already socialized too much? Maybe you're already angry about some other stuff. A lot of what I work on with clients and their couples is making sure you don't take the shit from work home and then blow up on your partner when they didn't deserve it. Or like a human said the other day, I was talking to my partner and I already had a bad day because I didn't get the results I wanted, so I'm fucking angry.
Mhm.
And then I told my partner I didn't really want to like provide any advice, and I said, "Why the fuck did you provide advice then? You should have just listened and validated." But I felt like I needed to provide a solution. No, you idiot! You said you didn't want to do it. Why did you do it? He said, "I don't know. I was just angry." I was like, "God damn it! All she wanted was you just to listen."
That's
So
why
we,
being a quiet person really helps.
yes,
It's like, yeah, cool.
yep. That's all I needed to
Oh, it's
do. He was
terrible.
already angry. He said, "Well, I just thought she wanted something." She told you she just wanted you to listen, you son of a bitch. Make sure when you're frustrated or angry, you had a bad day at work, that you do not go home and spout shit off. Pull back, recover, ask for time. Ask for time. I tell this to my couples all the time. Ask for time. Walk outside. If they don't let you walk outside, wait until they walk away from the door, then you go outside.
Mhm.
I'm sure many of you heard that deep breath. Take a breath. Then get back to what you need to do. It takes extreme emotional intelligence to do what he did. He also has a lot in the line. If he snaps on this guy, he loses a lot of money from Nike. He loses a lot of money from Milwaukee. He makes himself look poor for all these kids that are paying attention to him for mental health.
But hey, if he held a gun, it's fine.
It's John Morant.
I know.
Yeah, if it was Giannis, that probably would have been really bad for Giannis.
Uh-huh. He's supposed
Yeah.
to be a family man.
Yeah, he's a
Why would he hold a
family
gun?
man, Christian man.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of us have a lot to lose. So pay attention to what he did. And then at the end, because he did pop off a little bit, he apologized. I don't think there's anything more emotionally intelligent than being able to apologize and own up and hold yourself accountable that if you did something stupid. And so he said, he's not really not apologizing for what happened, but if if he took it personal, if he said anything sideways, saying, my bad on that. Obviously, I'm a little bit heated right now, and then he said next. So now he's ready to move on. I thought that was the best emotionally intelligent conversation, impactful conversation I've seen in a long time from an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it in the gym the other day. I was thinking about it today. How can I be a failure if this isn't the end of the road? There's steps to this shit. So this was a step that I took. It was a wrong step. I'll continue to make more steps and I'll build something else. Hopefully most of you listen to that and you listen to Giannis. And everyone else was just miserable fuckers. Because if they want to always scared of losing and all that and they're always focused on outcomes, they're going to be miserable forever and they'll never be happy. Every day you compete with yourself. More kind, more loving, more empathetic, better at reading, better at writing, just a little bit better. Better at Spence shooting jump shots, better at doing the interviews, a little bit better. Maybe you're a little bit more firming with your partners or your friends, right? A little bit better. 5%. I hung out with some friends this weekend, right? I'm trying to be more social now. I'm trying to be better as a person and be more social. I like laying in my bed and I like just doing my own shit, but I know I need to be social. I'm trying to be better every day. I do nothing as a failure until I quit. I'm wishing all of you good luck with this shit. I know it's a bitch. all of you awesome individuals that probably have your own issues, mental health issues, whatever it is, oppressions, marginalizations. I'm sure some of you doing interviews like me and Spence are. It sucks.
Yeah.
I get it. It sucks. Sit in it. Take that deep breath, and now let's go get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Because we ain't no victims on this pod. We gonna get some shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Spence ain't talking to no bums.
Hey, are you a nerd? Do you like pins? If you're like any of our followers and you said yes, you should check out our collaboration with Pinfinity. They have Power Rangers pins, Transformers pins, and for all of our bronies out there, My Little Pony pins. Go check out our link tree or use our code DSP to get 20% off your Pinfinity order today.
We talking to winners.
All the winners.
All the winners. All you nerdy ass neurodivergent winners.
That's right. You know what winners do? They buy pins. That pin right there. Look at that pin. Put it up to the camera. There it is. Look at that. That's Blue Ranger right there, and
that's
upside down Red Ranger. There
That's
it is.
magnificent. And then
Look at this. Those are
when
some
the
nice
two
looking pins. I
the
tell
two
you what.
the two boy pins sometimes they touch. I'm sorry.
It's a little kiss on the helmet. That's all you need. And then
And then
a
a
pineapple.
pineapple. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Why not? Glad we got back to this.
Yep.
I think I needed it, and I also think it's good for you to see it too.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this in the gym. The world, we're gonna get into the next part with Martin Luther King. The world literally tries to take everything from you. It literally tries to make you believe that you are the biggest piece of shit on earth. It will try its best to kill you. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And if you believe it, you've lost. As me and Spence talk about at the end of the pod, sometimes we're serious, sometimes we're not. And then how I end it, take care of yourself. It's your choice. You can make the active choice to start believing in yourself and doing things better for yourself every day. Or you can just sit in it and just die. And that's not a life. Just existing is not a life. Do what Giannis does. Fail marvelously. Get back up, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done, kid. You got any sauce to add to it?
Be like water.
Refreshing?
Be like Bruce Lee. Be like water.
Jesus. We got sugar in it?
All the sugar waters. Yeah. It's you ever seen Men in Black when he becomes like the cockroach and he's like, sugar water.
I need water.
I need
But sugar. I remember.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that. So
There
on
you
that
go.
note.
This
Thank
is-
you everybody for watching.
Doctor now. Dr. Spencer, you knew what you needed some water.
Oh, believe me, if I was a doctor, I'd be throwing that in everyone's face. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it'd be hilarious. On the court, I'd just be like, Dr. Nas about to cross it.
I might do that. As soon as I lose a few more pounds, I might go on the basketball court. I'm like, Dr. Nas on your ass, boy.
Dr. Nas. Just as you score a bucket, Dr. Nas.
Just watch my leg fall off. It's a doctor leg.
Everybody, and then another type of doctor in here. Another type of doctor.
A real doctor.
All right, folks. That is all today. It was a short but sweet one. That's for sure. Short but sweet. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like we said before, go check out our sponsors, Bub Naturals, Cure Hydration, Pinfinity, and Silver Dollar Candle Company. Go check out all of them. You can get discounts off all of them if you go to our link tree or use the codes DSP20 for Bubs and Cure or DSP for Pinfinity. So remember to do that. And then also go check out our merch. We have a lot of great things on there. Mental Health University. Yes.
There
Looks
it is.
like some great things here. And go check out our link tree and check out our self-help links.
Yeah,
So you
everything.
can go and check them out. And if you do use any of those resources, please leave a tip, because Nas put a lot of work into them. So please do
That's
so.
me.
Yes, that's him. So, like he said, we have a lot of great guests coming on. Don't forget to check those out. And with that, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is a Different Spectrums podcast.
Peace, everyone. Much love. And remember, take care of yourself.
Or don't.
And you know that shit's up to you, homie. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.